Hello. In this C++ programming video, I will be covering for loops. These loops are perfect for repeating a block of code a specific number of times using a counter variable. So what is a for loop? A for loop combines initialization, condition checking, and iteration control in one line. So as you can see, the syntax here is we're using the for keyword, and then inside the parentheses, the first thing we have is initialization. So this sets a starting value for your loop variable. The condition after semicolon, the loop runs while this is true, and then finally after another semicolon, the update changes the loop variable each time. As an example, it would be an increment. And we can see that in our first program example. So we are starting at I equals 1. We are running while the condition I less than or equal to 5 is true. And then I plus plus increases I by 1 after each loop. So let's run our program here. Well, compile first and then run. As we can see, we start at 1 and then we count to 5. So if we want to change our variables, if we want to start at 3 and end at 15, for example, and we run that, as we can see, we start at 3 and then we end at 15. So our next example here is summing numbers. So this is useful for calculations where you know the range in advance. So here we're starting at 0. We're initializing the sum to 0. We're starting at 1, and we're adding up every number from 1 to 10. So during the iteration of each loop, we add the index to the sum. So the sum from 1 to 10 will be 55. If we want to make this a more simple example, we can do that. One to 10 to 6. Well, I forgot to change the display text, but 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 6. Next, another example here is decrementing. Here, we can count down or skip numbers. So we're starting at 10. The condition is true while I is greater than or equal to 0. So it will execute when that's the case. And then we're going down by 2. So let's see what happens here. So we can see we start at 10, then we go down to 8, then we go down to 6, then we go down to 4, then 2, then 0. And then once we hit 0, after that, it's done. So some common mistakes with for loops. A big one is forgetting to update the loop variable. That leads to infinite loops. Also using the wrong condition. This may run too few or too many times. And then finally, off by 1 errors. They're very common when using ranges. So at that point, that's what practice helps you get better at that, and also debugging and testing your code. So as a brief practice challenge, write a program that asks the user for a positive number and uses a for loop to display all even numbers from 2 up to that number. So in this episode, you learned the structure of a for loop, how to count up, count down, and skip numbers. You saw some practical uses for calculations and iteration, and we talked about some common pitfalls to avoid. If you found this tutorial helpful, do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you for watching and have a great day.